recording it?
Yeah, we live.
Just saying, I got a fucking fro going on right now.
You totally should get a fro.
No, I've had one. That's why I have
can't
dreads.
imagine you with a fro though. Like
that's why I have dreads right now. It's like literally because it's like you see this on top, it just keeps going.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
It goes.
Like so, episode what? 50.
Episode 53 of Candid Conversations. This is the one after our year anniversary. What's going on? Yeah, man. Been doing this for a year.
52 plus 1.
52 plus 1. You are getting an exclusive listen to some instrumentals from. Is this a bass mental? This is an exclusive listen to one of the bass mentals. We're missing one of the bass mentals. Shout out to Zach Burry.
Shout out to Zach
Yep.
Burry.
You know what I mean?
But we got 3 in one place at the
Three
same
one-
time.
It doesn't happen like that. It hasn't happened as often. Like
Ever since the plague.
this COVID shit,
Yeah,
man.
the plague.
I'm telling you.
I prefer calling it the plague.
At least they're not calling it the Black Plague this time. Well, I'm just saying, like, if we can be real.
No, you know what's kind of killed me about this whole thing is the fact that it's actually affected all classes.
Everybody, no one got away from it.
No, and that's why they shut it down real fucking quick. They were like, rich people can get this shit?
Yeah, you noticed that too. And
We're
even
going to stay home.
And even then, the elite still got to run their businesses. Shout out to McDonald's and all of that shit.
No, and straight up. And I mean, that's kind of the funniest thing about the whole thing is it's like...
Tim Hortons, Amazon, eBay, all of that.
Yeah, like they're still sacrificing the Pope.
Pope in the Vatican, man.
No, and I mean, it's kind of a thing, but... I mean, this is why I'm cool with protests and why the fucking... I mean, some people are like, oh, Antifa taking over, like fucking, what was it?
Yeah. Antifa's taking over.
No, but like they actually took over part of, what was it, Portland or something?
Seattle.
Yeah,
the Chaz, right? Like
I think that's kind of...
That's kind of Fallout-y, almost.
Well, no, okay, I'm one of these people that I don't like big empires. If the States and Canada fell into a bunch of little countries that had their own particular ways of looking at things, fucking A. You know what I'm saying?
So you're all about, so if Quebec were to get its way, I was going to say Junior France. But if Quebec were to get its way, Junior France, if they were to get its way and be able to separate from Canada, how would that affect you? Like,
well, no,
would that affect you?
I think having treaties with them would be a really cool idea.
Should they still be able to use our dollar?
No, they're their own. They're their own nationality, man. They gotta have their own dollar, their own.
Well,
economy.
their dollar's going to be tied to their own currency. Like they're a country. They're not.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like same thing with Seattle. Same thing with any sort of country. Is unfortunately you're tied to. And I don't totally disagree with, like, okay, this is how we value money per country. Part of it's political, part of it's economic, but...
Money's a lie.
The devil is a lie. Church.
It's a good lie.
It even
Money's
says
a really great lie, I'm not going to lie.
It even says on the damn paper, this is not a legal tender.
No. It's what it's worth. And I mean, that's kind of the fact with it. It's a question of whether you want to sit there and go like, okay, do we want one large area to determine what a currency is? Or do we want that to be something that is valued by what that area is kind of worth at that point? You know, what's a more valuable statistic? I mean, it's money. It's a number. It's not like it's a real... Numbers exist and don't exist.
Yeah, like, it's just how math is kind
Yeah,
of
like 2
lie.
plus 2 equals 4.
I'm getting a call right now, sorry. Hello?
Yeah, like 2 plus 2 equals 4, but why?
I'm live
like, why do we
on
need to
Candid
know why that
Conversations
happens,
out of
you
the
know?
blue.
Well,
Friday edition.
It does.
I
Anybody
actually shouted you out when we
you
started
show them
because we
2
have
plus
the other 2
2
base
equals 4,
mentals here.
Then you've got that, but if you've
Yeah.
got...
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
But it's not like it's a physical
All right, cool,
thing,
cool.
You know?
Yeah, It's just there. To
It's
just
a
keep the
weird.
economy,
It's a weird concept.
All right. True. Yeah, man. We're just.
But yeah, like I
we're just
do
here
kinda
live,
look at
so
it. It's,
I don't know
I've
how long I'm
been
gonna go. Probably like
watching
half
this
an
for
hour.
a bit.
The COVID thing.
No, like the birth of the city.
Well,
Oh, right.
we're just listening to the
get
stuff
us
that
out
we've
of
made.
here.
Well, no, the Middle Ages was another a lot of
All right,
city
cool.
states. Cities having their own militaries and everything outside of that city being more or less free land.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a weird way to look at it, but we had certain points where empires made a lot of sense and were able to build these new things. But right now, like, technology is so diffuse that Welland can build anything that any other city can create. So why are we dependent on any other city? And I'm not saying that in like the way of going like, okay, let's separate or whatever, but those other globalist ideas don't really make as much sense anymore.
Okay.
You know?
Let's get another one of these tracks up here. The one that was Night at the Crocsberry. This is the one that started it all.
If we can make a bunch of stuff ourselves, then like, why would you need anybody else?
Well, kind of, or like
self-reliance,
yeah, like not total self-reliance. Like, let's face it, like
interdependence.
No.
That's what we are. We are interdependent. It's just that not everybody's doing their job. It's like the garbage man relies on us to create garbage, the same way we rely on these companies to create the products that we use to create said garbage. And if the companies aren't creating what we need,
then we don't need garbage.
Then we don't make garbage, and we don't need garbage men. And like that's just off the cuff kind of situation, but like apply it to any scenario in the chain, and then you understand that we all rely on each other. It's like I, as an artist, rely on DK Lonely as a producer,
rely on. But I mean, here's the question, though, and I mean, this is I'm kind of taking a bit of a counterpoint, but with the technology we have now, we don't need that producer. We don't need that video. Don't we? There's points where we might. I think that still exists within certain sorts of things, but to a degree, like, and what I'm saying with cities is like that technology that we've kind of created has lessened the need for, like, okay,
if you understand it, yes. If you understand the technology, yes, you don't need to have someone else create that stuff for you. And we are all producer musicians, right?
Yeah.
Like, we all are artists. We're creatives in the sense that there's multiple facets within which we can make something happen. Like, and it's not just, like, these two, believe it or not, like, I didn't know you were a welder until you guys started talking about it. You know what I mean? To be able to make metal or to bend metal the way you've been taught is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? That's metal in itself. That's so hard it's metal.
Here's a question. For you. So if Welland can, let's say if Welland can make everything on its own, how many people want to go and learn how to, be like a metal fucking fabricator? How many people want to go
in Welland?
Or I mean, if we were going to be like
incentive would make anybody want to do anything. Really, I think it needs
has
more
globalization actually like impacted this town in a positive way?
Not really, because like the John Deere plant was here.
There's a lot
because they wanted too much money for it. That's why the John Deere plant's gone.
Well, no, they wanted a lot of money compared to countries that we were shipping that labor out to. We should have made. I'm just saying, when it came down to globalization, we should have made sure that unions within those particular countries were established things. But we let the capitalists deal with it. If China was able to sit there and go like, yeah, sure, we'll ship stuff out to you, and if they want to charge less, they want to charge less, but you have a union. You know what I mean? That was the thing that I kind of look at, that we should have been shipping out globally. Because otherwise we ended up with a bunch of slave labor. We found another way of colonizing the world.
Kind
everyone's cage is their own house now, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
but I mean, no, but I mean,
but some people are lucky that that people are in their cages.
But I mean, like we're talking, like, you know, what was the factory in I can't remember where the fuck it was, where they had to put a cage on top of the fucking factory so people wouldn't commit suicide off of it.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I mean, unions.
I'm part of a union, so I mean, I like my job as like a unionized welder. That's
Anything
really cool.
See,
where
I'm
people
not,
stand
but-
up for each other is more power, more power to it. Like when it comes to that stuff, it's like you have security in your occupation, and there should be nothing wrong with that. And I think for a company to have a problem with the union just means that they have intentions to do some shady shit.
Well, no, because there is. I mean, because let's face it, like there's 30 years of anti-union like kind of propaganda existing.
But man, like being in a union is great.
Like, you know, it's kind of like the difference between an actual racist and institutionalized racism. You know, you have one.
Please,
where,
let's talk about that. Like I haven't.
Well,
been
no,
all
but
month.
in no, but I mean in the sense of unions. You know what I mean? Like it's. I think they're actually kind of similar. Is you've got people who are, I want to exploit this. Because this particular system exists, and there's people that just live under this system, and it works for them not even as well, but aren't willing to change it because they just don't have the will to change it.
On your point for unions, I mean, they do protect shitty people, but like at the same time, I know of a welder who, if this person is on the list,
True that.
If this person, I'm telling you, like I got this from the apprenticeship coordinator himself. If this person is on a list, there are jobs and like companies who will like actually postpone work if they know she's on the list. So sometimes a union can't really do much for you if you're not that good of a worker, you know. So like, I mean,
Police unions.
Okay, fair enough. But hey,
police in general need to be overhauled. I'm going to speak on it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I had to learn this stuff for 2 years. I had to spend 2 years to learn how to use this stuff. And this cannot create any bodily harm. Actually, I lie. If I turn this all the way up, I could damage eardrums and break glass.
True that.
But
that's what you learn.
But that's what you learn. You know what I mean?
That's the learning curve.
I can't, like, unless I focus this and point it at somebody in particular, like, it's not going to cause them damage. So why can't you get to your gun and car in 8 months?
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
I'm not, like...
No.
Like, show me, like, a psychology, accreditation. Show me some kind of civil service, civil sociology, psychology, civil science.
But I mean, this is where I kind of like this question. But what does that make a cop?
Just
like now,
a thug.
No, not just the thug.
No different than a
like going on nations as gangsters. Yeah, they're thugs.
Yeah. No, gangsters are different than thugs. Thugs are mindless creatures that just repeat the cycle of are willing to repeat a cycle of violence for their own gain.
But the gangsters become our politicians.
That's where they go to. Like they're the ones who are pulling the strings and all of that.
And this is where the question where it comes down to, I think, is with this whole thing is like, I don't know where to go with that. It's like, I think
you can't really quantify something that's been affecting our lives and how we, like, you know, act on this planet for, like, longer than, like, however long a fucking city's been around. Like, man, like, back in the fucking Middle Ages, the police were the guards just walking around the front gate.
If they even were. You know what I mean?
And all they had was a baton.
Well, no, and that's what I mean. Like, even those are somewhat mythologies. Like, the police as a thing has only existed for a short period of time. And I mean, like,
Army was created, I think.
You know, to say that before you would have your king and his guards or whatever the fuck that meant, and how that would deal with the peasantry country. You know, today we live in a society that is free of class, that operates in a completely different way, and that's what the police are to a degree. They're that sort of
lawless
like
mechanism.
I don't know what they are. Sometimes.
They're a lawless mechanism. They
Definitely.
like
They're imperfect people with the power to kill you and get away with it most of the time, unless you're caught on video.
Well, and this is what I think it comes down to is it's like, what does it mean? You know, what's trying to be upheld at this point? You know,
the stranglehold of resources.
Yeah, capitalism, bro.
Stranglehold of resources.
Our economy as it is, our way of life as it is trying to be upheld, man. Like this COVID thing.
Oh, it is
like,
fucking wonderful.
It couldn't.
Watching the world go to hell. This like watching politicians fucking just like.
Bro, they look like chickens in a fucking hen house trying to figure out where the goddamn door is because they just saw daylight. That's exactly what it looks like.
And it straight up is. It's wonderful. Like, I mean, like, at one end, like, this is reality, though. And I mean, like, I'm coming from this, strangely, from an environmental point of view. You know, animal species have, like, become annoying this year.
Oh, my God.
That's a great place to be as a human having to deal with the rest of everything that exists around you is to have a little bit of fucking humility.
I had a squirrel like we have a tree outside my porch, right? And I had a squirrel just all up in the tree looking at me through the branches like, because my daughter threw some peanuts out the other day, so it's used to coming to our house with peanuts out. So it's sitting there looking at me like, you gonna throw some more? Yeah. You know what I mean? Just in the tree, and just like, wait a minute, don't you got somewhere else to be? Like, if you jump off that tree, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It might have a shrill scream attached to it, but
and I mean that's the thing. They know it. I watch a lot of wild animals per day, and like a lot of them, except for snakes. Snakes are fucking stupid.
You think so?
They just sit in the middle of. They just can't see far enough. I feel sorry for them. Yeah, most reptiles just. I mean, they're good. They're just not great with human technology. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Can I get that lighter?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
you. I
But
forget where it's going. I was just.
You talking about snakes and I mean stupid?
For a second. Well, they're not that bright.
Man, technology has changed the world almost indefinitely. You were going on earlier about how like YouTube is, or no, like both of us were like going on earlier about how like YouTube is like the fucking postmodern of like media, because now everyone's got a hand in it. You know what I mean? Everyone can have an opinion now. You know, everyone can.
No, but I mean like. Okay, so take an artificial intelligence, right? It's like
an iRobot.
Well, no, more in the sense of like, okay, in statistics. Okay, you've got.
They brought up Will Smith earlier.
Say you take one person make a decision, right, and has to impact like 1 million people. Would it be better for one person to make that decision, even because they're a genius, or for all 6 million of those people to kind of eventually agree on what the right opinion might be? Which one do you think is going to get the better opinion?
Depends on the nature of the situation, because I, as a child prodigy, was like, I have been given the role and the task of making decisions based on like what's going to affect the class. You know what I mean? So
and that's a thing, but I think it's also it's close to home.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, so you know what I mean? Like, I
think there's responsibility in that, and I think the responsibility is knowing that you're not the genius at the top of the thing, trying to make decisions for everyone.
But that's what makes a true genius, that knowing that it takes more than them to be like. I could be the smartest guy in the world, but unless I convey it in a way that it can be recognized, then I'm just as dumb as a stump.
Shout out Albert Einstein, by the way. I feel like Einstein kind of fits that mold.
If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then it will forever be seen as an idiot, or something like that. Or be seen as
that's a really cool quote, actually. That's one I always kind of enjoyed that one. But even Einstein, like, I get the vibe with the guy that he seems smart, and I think that is like kind of a true thing of wisdom in the sense is like knowing that Taoism popped in my head. If you're looking for the way is not the way. You know, it's
so
the...
like, even if you're alone, you know what I mean? Like, just because you're alone in thought doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that nobody else sees your shit yet, you know? Like, nobody else sees how you see it yet, you know? And, like, Einstein, man, like, he was calling shit out, you know, like the theory of relativity.
It was like Da Vinci.
Nobody, man, like, that was proven. Da Vinci.
I don't know that much about Da Vinci.
Da Vinci, like,
was
I know
the Einstein of his time.
He made the first helicopter.
I know his stuff, but I've never actually, like, looked into... Because Einstein, like, we have a better idea maybe his personality.
I have to scooch over a little bit.
For some reason, Da Vinci would be one of those characters that brilliant, but do you want to delve into his history?
No, not really.
No, wasn't he like
sure.
he was a philanderer, wasn't he?
I have no.
Look,
I just
Da Vinci was a genius.
Like I think
how fucking Hitler was.
The time and period. I actually don't know.
But the difference between Da Vinci and Hitler was Da Vinci was recognized and appreciated for his genius. If Hitler was appreciated for his genius, we have Hitler to thank for this right now. Actually, technically, it was Hitler who created video technology, the videograph. Yes, I know this because I got an 86 in history, and part of getting that mark was knowing this fact. So, yes, he was the one who created the first cinematographic recorder.
Well, and that actually brings to mind a really interesting way of looking at like what we consider progress.
Okay.
And you know how we consider like super advancement of progress. Like, you know, within the past few years, we've had like AI and facial recognition, all of these things that all of a sudden are just like, we can do these things. And one end of it wants to go, hey, we can do these things. And there's another end that's like,
nah, fuck that.
Yeah, okay, might be a bad idea. You know what I mean? And it's, I kind of feel, again, going back to radio technology of being like, suddenly you're spread of a area, you have the possibility of a building a big, like, when the Romans built their fucking empire, they had to do that with fucking horses and messengers. If they wanted to control fucking England...
They had to send a messenger there.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know how long, but you had to send... Radio was fucking huge. You know? Like, this was... Television is...
Yeah.
Television's the new norm, man. Like, visual stimulation. Like,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Like, television, I think, is the best medium to use the form propaganda with.
So how about, like, YouTube, though?
Internet,
YouTube
bro.
is the... Man.
Well, no, because propaganda becomes too visible on YouTube.
It becomes propaganda on television. It becomes weaponized on the internet. It can easily, let me rephrase that. It can easily be weaponized on the internet. If you put the right thing in the right place and get it in front of enough eyes, but I mean, like, look at television in the same form. Like, but you don't have the same way to interact. Like, you're not, like, if you see something on TV, you gotta go to your phone and then
but I mean,
send
it's
the
kind of the difference between nuking a country and just sending in guerrillas. Like, this is Obama, actually, I think, made a really interesting point. I can't remember which fucking speech it was, but he was talking about moving money in the military away from, like, major sorts of sorties and moving it into intelligence and other things. And at one point, I was listening to it and going, like, actually, at both points, listening to it and going, like, wow, this is brilliant, because this is the way shit's going to be fought from now on. You know, it's...
You know.
Yeah, like...
Information wars, oh my gosh.
Well, everybody is, like city-states, everybody's kind of armed to the same degree at this point. You know, we don't have, at least not in North America, I'm making a pro-gun argument, but that basically explains it right there. But yeah, like
I'm not gonna lie, I now that I'm allowed
like
to say that, I have
in
an
general, that's what we're dealing with. There's been no, and nobody's gonna vote to nuke shit.
No,
That's what it
no,
comes down
like,
to.
bro,
like,
I just watched Chernobyl thanks
yeah.
because of this guy,
I don't know
and
if you've
my
seen it,
gosh,
No, I haven't, but like,
It's
Bro,
super
like
hot,
we've
man.
hit the point where we've kind of like, okay, for the planet, we can't do that, so this is what we're stuck with, and it's leveling the playing field. You know, it used to be I'm the king with the most control over iron, and I can make the most swords or the most muskets or whatever. Once we got the nuke, shit was gonna start leveling out, and it's taken 100 years, but
Because like now everyone's got a nuke and everyone's got like the
everybody can have a nuke, you know, and that we haven't fixed that problem yet.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So now we got freedom for the people. Because nobody can figure out a way to go like, okay, we either completely destroy ourselves or we figure out a better system than who's got the most iron.
It's funny you mentioned that, man. For freedom, do you really think that that's like real? Because we're the only species on the planet that pays to fucking be alive.
That's a
Live here.
system we use.
no, we pay to live.
Like take chimpanzees and shit suck cock to fucking like that's their currency. No, it's
I completely am baffled by that last statement.
okay. What I'm saying is, if you look at monkey colonies,
Yeah.
one of their currencies is, if we could call it a currency, is okay if you think you're stronger, or you think you can take the top chimp with all of the politics. Like it's a completely political environment.
Blaze, what up? I see you.
But what I'm saying is like it's a completely political environment. They suck a lot of dick. It's just a thing they do in order to appease people who are higher in the hierarchy because of whatever form of power. And sometimes a tin can is a form of power.
Sometimes
You
a
know,
bottle
it's
cap.
the one that can bang on the tin can scares the shit out of the rest of them, and therefore, welcome to religion.
Well, I mean, I think the tin can is like the news today. You know, like
No, and it is. It's the same thing. It's like that's one form of it, but like an iron can or like swords or whatever, it's another form of power. Monkeys with handguns don't usually last very long because they can't figure out bullets.
Did you see the video of the monkey with the AK-47?
Yes,
Oh,
that
I
was for
love
Planet
to
of the Apes.
watch
That
that.
shit was
Oh
amazing,
my
man.
gosh.
You have to rasterize that, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Don't even play with me. That would be so nice. That would be so funny. Oh my gosh. I think that has to be done.
Look, humans are fucked, man.
That's
We're,
what I
we're just another. We're not that fucked. We're literally another species.
Slide over
You know
it
what
so
I
I
mean?
can
Like,
sit
if
here.
you look at any other
Just take the
species,
drum with
they're just as fucked. Some of them, like, you can look at a lot of species and just
There
be
you go.
like, wow, you are fucked right up. We just do it our way, and we can only
I'll
really
leave your backpack
recognize
over there.
us. So,
Oh, the camera.
that's what we got, man.
Like, if we're going to hell in a handbasket already, I think that,
It's only because we have too much power.
We got the full group in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, we
the
just-
basementals. What up?
like, we just
Our
got
first
two
on
smart
camera.
grown goddamn goods, man.
First time on camera.
Well, we've okay. So take like apex predators, like something like
Oh,
a
shit.
tiger. They're still around, and they do pretty well. Well, except for us, because we think
What?
they're other apex predators, and we like to kill them for like,
Trophies.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
did that.
Men will do a lot of things, a foolish thing for pride. Many a foolish thing for pride.
No, and it's kind of funny that way. It's like we're not. I mean, it's the same thing with plumage and birds or fish with. I don't know what the fuck fish do.
Fish just,
Fuck.
Well, I
the fish
why
are
I
the
drink
nastiest,
alcohol,
bro. They just float around in the water like this and shit, and then when they feel like it, they're just like, you know what? I want to procreate. In the water, all around me, and then the other fish just kind of.
Dude, have you ever watched male seahorse birth?
No,
No, seriously, watch this. It's funny as fuck because it's totally how you would give birth.
Oh my god!
It's literally like 1,000 little fuckers, and the little the fucking male seahorse is just like.
Yeah.
And the fucking little seahorses running all over the place, and I'm like, that's how I would love to. They'd be much smaller children.
Just right out the gate.
And it's amazing to see because it's like it's one of those. Welcome to the conversation.
Well, that's good. I wasn't gonna break it up.
Yeah, man, this is candid conversations out of the blue.
You missed like the chimpanzee colony currency. We'll catch that on the replay.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
It basically what it comes down to is any sort of social animal deals with some way of forming a hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Zebras are fucked.
Really?
Yeah.
By what degree?
Because they're fucking homicidal maniacs.
Really?
Yeah, and they're okay. So,
well, this is
like we're not sensitive.
That's what I was gonna say. Like you have background on this.
Yeah, like we're not sensitive to smell, right? Like humans are just really shitty at smell. It's the one thing we really do horribly.
Although, fun fact, we do have the capacity when training our sense to have the same olfactory capacity as a bloodhound.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I can believe it. I can say that it's probably possible. We don't do a lot of that.
We don't even.
So like zebras, and it's an attack thing on them. If they're getting attacked, their pheromones. They like I smell it. Did you ever go into a club?
Yeah.
And it's just like when people feel aggressive, you can smell that.
Yeah.
It's just like you can straight up smell.
It's like you're walking around, you're like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna stand over here. I mean, you know what I mean? Just keep walking around until you find that area.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they use that in a group sense, which is really kind of wild.
That happened outside of that one show that I was at. I'm like, something's about to happen.
And
the one guy, there was that show at Monty's.
Monty's, man. I'm telling you, I was walking around the club. I'm like, my Negro senses is tingling right now. I'm gonna head out. Then I went to my wife, and she was just like, the wife and her, she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, something's not right. You know what I mean? And then we left, and I checked in with Burry, and then because we did a performance. And I checked in with him, checked in with a couple other people, and I was just like, all right, I'm heading out. Not 20 minutes later did I get a phone call like, yo, where are you? I'm on the road on the way home. I just dropped off a friend of mine. Yeah. And friends of mine. And then I heard that something went down. I was like, okay, well, it's a good thing I left because I have a good streak going. Like, things don't go down when I'm in the club. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but when I'm in the club, nothing, like, things, like...
Oh, you're not going to be there.
Like, in the last decade. Or I'm not going to be there for it. Like, as I said, when I'm in the club. Like, when I'm gone, whatever happens, happens. But when I'm in the club, I'm just like... No.
I was just thinking about hanging out in clubs in like the 90s when you really couldn't tell because everybody was wearing so much fucking cologne and perfume, you just could not fucking tell. It was the era of... There wasn't a lot of fights. But two bros would usually get into it and nobody else could smell it, so it was popcorn. You know?
No, man.
But yeah, it's kind of... I don't know, it was a weird anecdote, but... It's definitely that thing. I've walked into clubs and just been like, okay,
something's not right.
I ain't never heard nothing like this in the club before, though. Nothing like this.
You have to hang out in Sweden for shit like this.
Sweden,
That's one place I've always wanted to go after.
Yeah, they're
Japan.
really bored.
Holland.
They are
Sweden.
really.
Japan.
You know what? I'm like half Dutch and I've been to Holland and.
That's my dad's middle name. You sound so disappointed with you. That was just such an exasperated sigh.
Like, okay, I'm half
no
Polish
shit.
also, and maybe like later on, I just kind of like really appreciated, not Western Europeans because they're just the more boring version of Europeans, like from a North American standpoint, you know.
Okay.
Like we're like a pirate nation. We control the seas.
Okay.
You know, it's. Someday I'll find the book. I will find the video. I'll send it to you. I want to find it because it's like it totally explains how like colonial sea power moving over to North America as like this major power just created a complete pirate colony in North America. And really, at the end of the day, when you kind of look at it, we're these crazy fucking pirate colony on this land that we just took from the natives. Because, yeah, it's sad, but that's what happened. And, yeah.
Blaze said it's funny how you can
it got
always
taken over by
smell
pirates.
drunk bitch at a party. And it's like, or angry dude.
What?
Like you can always sense like a drunk chick or an angry dude at a party.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well,
Or a drunk angry chick.
Oh my gosh.
That's something I don't think I've ever witnessed. And
Well,
wanna
no,
witness.
because there is a difference between like how people express smell-wise between androgens, and androgens are the ones that guys use, and there's
Estrogen?
one
No,
estrogen. Yeah,
estrogen, I think.
yeah, but you can smell it through the skin,
Yeah.
and we tend to view certain smells a different way, so it's harder to smell angry chick. Unless they're, you
It's
know,
oozing in
Yeah, so
testosterone.
And then
maybe
they're just
we're
like-
rely on eyesight and maybe body language more, you know.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
that's how
yeah,
we smell,
for
you know.
yeah, like, and I mean, these are things that exist over all species.
Well, at least we're not praying mantis. Could you imagine, bro? Like
That would suck.
that would
not.
blow
I would
my-
not.
Worst marriage ever.
I know some goth girls.
Okay, well, see,
Wow,
like
that's a really
you can
great way to
guarantee,
start that.
you can guarantee
Jesus.
you're gonna get a story from Dave.
Talking about praying mantises.
Like, oh, how do you go from praying mantis to goth? Like,
Well, no, because
no, I see how you do it. I just
yeah.
I didn't expect it. That's what I enjoy about these conversations. You
you
never
ever-
know what's gonna happen.
I swear to God, watch Beastars.
What's that?
It's a Netflix anime that by the first or second episode, you're going to be kind of like, whoa. Watch it the full season, because there's like a rabbit trying to give like a wolf a blowjob.
What in the hell?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That's like the homosexual boat on the tick.
It goes really sideways, but then it gets into Karn. And so Karn would be like, it could be considered a kink if you go there. But for the most part, it's kind of this cool little intellectual thing where certain people eat other people. And so certain animals enjoy the concept of being, it like it's built into their program. Because they're a prey animal, it's in their program to want to be, or when time comes, want to be eaten.
So they know they're being farmed for that kind of stuff? Or they're farming themselves for that?
No, all I can say is kind of watch it. It's by the end of it, it's kind of, it's a tricky story, and it's,
Okay.
there's definite parts in it where you'll be watching and you'll be like, is this about human trafficking? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not laughing at
points
human
of it.
trafficking. I'm laughing at the fact that the show would make you think about it.
No,
Which that isn't funny still. Wow, I'm twisted.
It feels like it goes in that direction only because you're searching for any way for this world to seem human.
Okay.
It's actually pretty impressive, actually.
All right. And what's it called again?
Beastars.
Beastars.
It definitely worth watching, man. It's just hard to get through the first few episodes because it's hard to get through.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look at that. Because I'm always
Right,
looking for different things
accessible.
to watch.
I forget where that even started, so we smoked a joint at one
Talking
point.
about
Yeah.
praying mantises.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right before.
Yeah.
Oh, so this does kind of all connect through stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Blaze is loving all of your beats, bro. He's like, that last beat's fire. He's
Thanks,
like,
man.
this beat also sick.
Man, Blaze, yo, although I've never met him in person, like
Yeah.
I feel like the times I've talked to him, it's been like, man, the first time I ever talked to him has just been like as if we've already known each other for like.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
okay,
like,
so like
it's
I'd like
he's just chill as fuck. You know what I mean? Shout out to get a Blaze Rakai on Facebook.
I'd like to collaborate on a beat with you for him. Then, if you know when we find the time.
He I don't think he raps. Do you rap?
He just
Can he
asked for
hear
like
us?
2 beats, bro.
Well, yeah, you'll get it, man. Trust me. Trust me. That's the guarantee.
All right, cool.
This is where most of the magic happens anyway today.
Well, magic happens.
These days.
Like, well, you know what I mean? We just make it work. We just put in work. That's all I gotta say. I don't know. He's dynamite in his activities. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen him do some stuff in the last 6 months. It's just like, shit. Had I known you I met you the same time I met other people that I met, I could only imagine the work that would have happened. But you know what? Everything happens in time, and this is the time for this work to happen. So.
Honestly, I think a lot of what music is today is just tastes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the mantra for my, you know.
He made
especially with Splice now. Okay, it's like all these sounds, right? All these sounds, they're like.
We're looking for our cut. If your sales go up because we just mentioned you Splice or any other company that you see on this, like we'd like to know that we're gonna get a cut. Like it could be better quality of sounds,
A free upgrade.
or something like that.
I'd be
But
happy
you
with a free
gotta
upgrade.
you gotta shorten the names on some of your songs, on some of your samples because it doesn't work with a program.
All right, have fun.
Yeah, man. All right,
I believe in you.
cool.
But yeah, I mean, like to me, it really is about taste, man. Because like if you have good tastes, you're gonna make good music based on your tastes. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, I think like
True.
and like that's why like there's so many really great artists and so many other really great artists and that aren't like known or nothing.
Yeah.
Granted, a lot of it does come from exposure too. So
Not everybody.
It's part of the reason why we exposed the North.
yo, Blaze, you never told me that you rap before. I've known you for so long, man.
Oh, it's Mr. Jones in the building. What up? What up?
Hello, Mr. Jones.
David Jones just popped in. You know what I
David
mean?
Jones. He
Yeah,
sounds like professional. You know?
Doesn't he sound like big business? Like
Sounds like he works at Dunder Mifflin, bro.
Thunder Mifflin.
David Jones.
Yeah.
I love that
Jones.
show, by the way.
Oh man,
What
Jones
is that?
is.
Yeah, I've seen the office.
The Office and Dunder Mifflin. World's best boss. I gave that cup to my dad one year.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was kind of an insult at the time, because I was really young and it said world's best boss on it, and I'm like, oh man, my dad's a boss. but then I watched the show and I'm like, oh shit.
Nah, you got it good.
My life kind of works out like that.
Oh man, that's great. That is so great. Oh man, miscommunications. Let's talk about them. Like I'm a firm believer that body is the first language that we learn.
100%. I would agree with that, because like if you know how to read body language, you can really tell what a person's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're like saying, "Oh, it's fine," it's like, you know, you can tell.
You could tell.
You know, like
That's what I'm saying. Like anytime I see something, like if I talk to someone or I haven't talked, or if I've been talking to someone for a minute and then I stop talking to them, it's like, okay, and then I see them post something that relates to like something we've talked about, I'm gonna
really
check them on
fast
that.
pace, man. Holy fuck.
I can say like that. It's good.
Yeah,
As long-
no.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say as long as it doesn't
Yeah.
it pulls on the camera. Does anybody have any like specific requests from the base mental folder?
You guys already played.
Zach Shaker beat.
Yeah,
Zach
Zach
Shaker
Shaker.
beat.
I was gonna say you guys probably already played.
Turn it up.
Roxbury.
It's a good song. Yes.
Yes, we played that at the Groxbury because that started it all.
Yes.
Well, we can pull it back.
Zach did guitar on that. Dave did bass. Block did the trumpet, and I was like just the dude who was like, yeah, here.
He's the one who put it all together.
I'm just gonna sequence all this out. Here you go. Add some drums to it.
You know what I mean? Like, that was bonkers the way it turned out.
But yeah, like it's tastes. I love tastes.
Oh, that's excellent. Shout out to the wife picture for like just preparing lattes. Not even just, but like the multitude of things. I'm telling you, man. Like I gush over my wife every now and again, and I don't mean to make anybody feel ways, but just like when someone does good for you,
you can tell.
You just appreciate it. You know what I mean? And that's just one of the things that I realized today. I'm like, I'm fucking lucky.
I think that's why some people work good in a marriage and some people don't. You know, it's just because like they would rather look out for themselves. Not to be and that's not to say that people like that can't find love eventually, but like if you're self-sufficient, you're self-sufficient. You gotta just not be a dick about it. You know?
Of course, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with being like I didn't think I was the type, but I was told that I was. So like, turns out they were right. But you know, like it's just one of those things. I see and I know people who are just like, okay, you need to be refined before.
Yeah, no
shit.
You know what I mean? Buddy, let's maybe take you aside. Maybe tell you how shit really works.
When
then
you
go for it.
exactly when you speak to her with an ego, that usually makes she go.
Wow. I feel like that'd be a really great, like fucking, like, I feel like that name could be great for, like, a villain. Like a comic book.
Well, she go, oh man, that would, feel free to run with it.
My dad said this thing that I still kind of look at. It's like, if you're getting married, it's because you're working on the same project for a while. You know, in some projects, some people get divorced because their project ran out. And that's half the time their kids... And then the project runs out, and they're like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Oh wow!
Midlife crisis. Yeah,
but
I mean, like, that's one thing he kind of said that it was kind of like, yeah, that makes a fuck of a lot of sense. You gotta be kind of on the same page to, like, because you're working on the same fucking thing.
Yep, definitely.
You're not
goals.
You and them. It's like,
but you also have to have your own space. To work on your own thing.
Because that works on the you and them.
Yes, exactly.
I think the fucking... I think the individuality that you were kind of, you know, touching on is what is inherently attractive, right? Like the fucking... To like a girl, I would say. Because, like, if you... I mean,
yeah, I like a girl that I don't have to see all the time.
No shit.
No. Like, I mean, as an individual thing, you know? I mean, it's like I like somebody...
If she's putting in work to work on herself, good. You know, that just gives me, in my case, like the motivation to do the same. You know.
Yeah,
and
like
if she wants the same, then she'll like love me for it. You know. It's,
yeah, like I would say that the girl I still kind of love the most, I haven't seen in 10 years.
Wow, really?
Wow.
And it's simply because every time I talk to her is when I need to talk to her. You know what I mean? That's when I need that, you know, sort of like my individual end of it and their individual end of it is kind of hit like a certain spot where we need to recharge.
Plus, like, she probably knows you in a manner that, like, we don't or your parents don't. You know what I mean? It's more...
It's kind of weird. It's like, it's in a way that...
It's like she sees you for who you are and she, like accepts you because you are who you are and she appreciates that.
Yeah. It's a weird sort of thing, and it's like I definitely have found that I like to keep a certain amount of individuality. I can hold myself up on my own. You know.
Speaking on that, now I want to get your opinion on this because, you know what I mean, we all have different perspectives. You know what I mean? Even so, I have this firm belief that if one can't hold my head when I'm down, they shouldn't reach for my hand when I'm up.
Oh shit.
Where do you stand on that philosophy?
I think it's kind of the same thing as like a girl saying like if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best kind of thing.
I'm gonna go where I'm gonna go where I've never had to be in the point where that's been an issue. Like, you know, it's in my own head. I've always been better, so of course I'm pulling people up.
That's it. classic. Classic, dude.
Oh, man.
That's
Man.
Like
like you have to have that standard. You know what I mean? Gigs like girls. Gigs like
no,
girls.
I think it's
don't know.
horrible, but it's like at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna. I did enrichment classes when I was a kid. It instills a really fucked up morality in you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like,
yeah.
when I was 8, I was working with 12-year-olds. You know, I was
Yeah.
doing class with 12-year-olds. You know what I mean?
And it kind of like sets a standard on you that
Yeah, you have to
I'm
function
just
at a higher
learning
level.
to break.
Oh.
You know, I'm just learning to break
But-
that sort of psychological standard of having to be like, to be able to just sit back and go like, what anybody else can do
Yeah.
is probably better than I can. You know what I mean?
I have this working. It's like it works like this. Like she'll get me to where I'm going, and I'll get her to where she's going, and she'll get me where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'll get her- like, you know what I mean, a reciprocal kind of thing. And I think that's what makes it work as well as it does. Like we've been together for 12 years, married for 7 this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were supposed to be going to medieval times in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but things happened.
COVID happened.
And it just like screwed everything up. Everything. We've been saving since like October, bro.
The Undertaker retired. This is terrible.
You know what I mean? Like the Undertaker. He retired. Like, and like that's the year I got my WWE Universal title. Like,
This year sucks.
I'm just
Yeah.
like
Wow.
it's taking everything out of life. You know what I mean? But it's all good. I'm gonna have some for pizza's sake. You know what I mean?
Shit, man. Shout out to Pizza Sick, by the
Daughter's going like,
way. like,
yo, bro. The onion.
how do we go past? How did you not call him out?
Yo, man, I got
Shout
to shout
out
out
to
for Pizza's sake. Still, he's right, cause they made my. Yo, listen, I'm on the phone. Like, yeah. So what you got? And like, we got this. You know what? I'll have that. And then he goes, "What do you have onion ring poutine?" It's like, well, we don't usually make that. Oh, okay, cool. He's like, but I'll make it for you. What? What?
Man,
You my favorite.
This guy gave me onion rings.
Onion ring.
I still
Onion ring
can't.
poutine.
Never even heard of that.
I still can't say that out loud and be like, "Wow, that actually happened in real
Bro.
life. Like that wasn't a dream."
Like,
Dude,
listen,
actually-
man. Listen.
Pizza
I
Sick,
saw
man.
the plate, the dish, the whatever you got, the container, and it had the onion ring like this, and then the curd was like that, and the gravy was just all over. I'm like, yo, like I don't like to reach into other people's plates, but like, you mind if I try one of those, then I'll give you some of mine. He's like, yeah, cool. So I try one of his. Like
What,
literally,
was, like at the store?
no,
Some guy
like,
knew
when we,
this?
no, when we got here, when we got here, yeah, 'cause it
fucking
was
story. Yeah,
private,
okay. Oh, yeah.
So I reach over, grab it, turn around, bro. I turn back because I was gonna ask him for another one. Yo.
And it was already done.
Instinct.
So where the
It's
fuck
already
do you
gone.
figure about onion ring poutine, man?
Bro, I don't
Pizza's
know.
sake.
I don't know what. I
you gotta
never
try
thought
it.
of
No,
it in
no,
my
no,
life.
but I mean, like, where does
Yeah.
that concept
Really,
because
I don't know.
that's
Comes
kind
from-
of brilliant.
It's
you
fucking
know?
It comes
amazing.
from people being fat and like wanting to make really greasy food.
Ox King.
Oh my god! Whoever came up with that is a genius.
Oh man.
I don't know if it was Zach who came up with that, like Stoddy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Stott who came up with that, but like still, it's a genius idea.
It was brilliant.
That's crazy, man.
I think you guys should actually brand fucking onion ring poutine, man, and just fucking
we
come
should've
up
done
with
it.
a brand right now.
My exit will involve
Taste Mentals.
taste
Onion
mentals.
ring Taste
Taste
Mentals.
Mentals.
Taste Mentals.
Taste
You're
Mentals
just
onion
saying-
ring poutine. Anybody who comes up with onion ring poutine in this town gives us
You're
credit.
just saying it all
Yeah.
comes down to taste too when you're making beats. So taste
It
mental.
all comes down to taste. The taste.
That's
Mentals.
Oh.
I was saying
It all
that as a
comes
win.
down
I
to
didn't.
the
I,
taste.
Yo, we got this on video, eh?
Yeah, no,
so don't even
straight up,
act
this
like we don't have this.
exists. This definitely
This is
exists at this
definitely a
point.
thing.
the things I say on a whim. It's
No, that's,
Oh,
fucking, that's a great. That is a thing right there.
Brilliant.
the taste mentals.
Brilliant.
The Taste Mentals onion ring poutine.
I'm sitting here like I'm hungry right now. I could order a pizza or something. Like, don't even play.
It's like you start talking about pizza.
And then
About to
sake.
get some pizza.
What's open right now? Like, I know the big brands are open, but like,
support local business.
That's
man.
what I'd rather do. Like, I'd rather, like, Angelina's is a nice one. They have, like, a $30 platter or something like that.
Angelina's came closest to making the pizza that I wanted.
Bro, you have to order it the way you did, but we're on live right now. You have to.
No.
Yeah, bro, you got to. You got.
Oh God.
I'd order it in patois, but they wouldn't understand what the fuck I
Bro,
was
that would
saying.
be so awesome.
They
Order
would
it
not
in
understand what I was
patois.
saying.
Please.
They
You have to
wouldn't.
do like that's gotta be the sequel.
But
man.
I can't order pork. I'm ordering it like a Rasta. Rasta's not eating pork. Rasta
you
no
could-
yam
you
no
could
pork,
just
man.
talk-
Don't tell me that.
you could just
Okay,
talk about
what
it, like-
what company could do this?
Okay, the backstory.
It'd have to be like a bar or something.
Let's
That'd be
Google what's
overnight,
open
don't
right
you?
now.
Look, the backstory is
Because pork
one
is
day-
a tricky one to find.
It is.
Look, bacon. Bacon is
No,
Bacon
no, it's not as pork. I've explained like bacon to like Jewish people and made them understand it, so it's not pork.
well, it's delicious.
No,
I'm not
and that's what I told them. It was like bacon bits, like try soy bacon bits, and it's a salt. Bacon is a salt. Pork is
Yeah,
a
more or
bit
less.
of a different thing. And just say it.
No. Taste mentals. That is a thing, man.
It all starts with the taste.
It does though, really. Anything, in my humble opinion, man, the best artists out there have the best taste, whether you're known or unknown.
Or you like have similar tastes.
Like, I mean,
And that's why there's so many different
Like-
tastes. Right?
I think that's part of
And so
why
many different artists.
like certain
Genre.
collaborations are good and certain ones aren't. You know, man, like even in rap, like there was this one with Mac Miller, rest in peace, and Big Sean, and you can tell that like both of them aren't on the same wave. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
like,
Because
whereas
they
like
probably
Kanye
like.
West and Kid Cudi, like that's
Because they
completely
probably
different.
were like maybe they bought the feature or something like that and sent it online. That's why I'd like to work with somebody physically on my album kind of thing rather than buy a verse. But I mean, if you're gonna buy a verse from a famous guy,
Then that's a difference.
that might be what you have to do. But I don't know.
I mean,
Still, I'd like to if it's locally, be good to actually connect on the track.
yeah, especially around here, man. This is the time where we either sink or swim as like a musical area, you know.
Yeah,
Or, I
establish some
mean-
footing.
Or I mean, our generation of musicians, anyway. Because like these next ones coming up are all on the same wave, if you ask me. You know, so it's like
And definitely like this area is a fight
Oh,
because
a dogfight.
well, it's
Like anybody who steps up, like I mean, like there's people who are doing things that aren't seen. Well, not even aren't seen, but aren't being recognized.
yeah.
And then there's people who are doing things that are being recognized that could be done differently, or don't necessarily have to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like, this area's always been a number of years behind
Because we played the
Toronto
outside
or, like, other... And it's kind of accepted that to a degree, which is what kind of makes it annoying a little bit right now.
play like something.
But
Play whatever you want.
there's some cool shit growing here.
Yes.
No,
This right here-
there really is.
Honestly, this right here, us four in this room right now, personally speaking, and I've been working in audio production. I've been doing audio production for the better part of
Did you hear that
24
movie
years,
that I made?
28 years now.
Yeah.
This has been some of the most productive work that I've done. Some of the most satisfying work that I've done. Like,
Yeah.
Some of the most, and like potentially influential work that I've done too. Like, I've been influenced greatly by you three, like in ways that I've applied myself tonically and melodically
Yeah.
and musically, and even like on a personal level. You know what I mean? Like, I looked at things differently because of the way like you guys all conduct yourselves in different manners, and I'm just like, okay, like if we're gonna vibe on a level, then I gotta be a certain way, and I gotta carry myself a certain way, and like I respect all of you for what you've done individually, and you know what? Like, let's keep working. So, cheers to that for those of you who have one.
Honestly, man,
I'll tap my phone.
I think you carry yourself in a fucking brilliant way. Honestly, like, I actually kind of came down here because I actually kind of missed you, man.
Oh, man, bro, like, I was wondering for a minute, like, I was like, I hope I didn't do nothing to offend this guy. Like, it's been a minute since he's been out here, so that's why I reached out and was just like, I was like, yo, I thought about you, and I was just like, nah, he's doing his thing, he's working, he's probably busy, and I'm just like, nah, man, he crossed my mind again. I'm like, and like, he's got some crazy.
Like, you're one of these kind of more, you're definitely the most, not the most, but you're one of the more sane people I know out here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, just, it's...
Relatively.
I try, you know, I walk the line, you know what I mean? Of like, you know, some of the things I do, like that right there, that was kind of crazy, that purchase over there. That was just like, why are you doing it? Because I've wanted it for that long. Okay!
His soul just needs it, man. You know, like there are certain things that
there's some things you just gotta have, and it's just like, everybody has that thing where it's just like, shit, man, like, I've wanted it. I want it. I'm gonna get it. And
these glasses are a good example.
No, and I mean, it's kind of a thing. It's I always kind of use the phrase "breath of fresh air."
Yes.
You know, it's like you kind of find yourself after a while. It's like, this is too much of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yo, those look like.
And it's like that's
these
sanity
are like
to me.
old. Like,
you know,
yeah.
like that's something that's
hard.
They're
That's the Steve's,
old
man.
ass.
It reminds me what.
Never mind, like.
It reminds me of what freedom it is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm just like bullshit lamenting or something.
I think all of us have made some really good music, and I think we can make a lot more good music.
Of course.
Because
Like,
all of us have a fucking standard, man.
we already have an album right now, and nobody even knows about it. Well, now you know. You know what I
But,
mean?
like, don't worry, there's shit coming. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
We gotta let it marinate. We gotta decide what's what, and you know who's getting what, and where it's going to them, and when. There's a lot of politics behind the scenes that people don't even realize happen in music. Like figuring out the track list, and it's like, okay, what songs are gonna make the cut, and what songs aren't. And it's like, you know, who's gonna get what instrumental, and like
What songs are gonna
make
Stews take time to simmer, man.
Yeah.
especially
One of my
In a
favorite
hot pot.
meals is stewed peas, right, man? Stewed peas.
It's peas.
It's stewed. Well, actually, it's
Peas
stewed
ain't got no
peas.
flavor.
Bro, when you add some salt, when you add some like stewed beef
it's
to it,
salt.
no, like the salt beef, and then like they put
Salt
like pigtail
beef,
in it,
yeah.
like pigtail and oxtail. Sometimes it's like it becomes so, man. I ask my parents to make it whenever I go down there because
What the fuck do the peas have to do with
the
it?
peas are just the protein. That's the filler, the substance. They name it by that because that's what is there in abundance.
The thing that tastes.
Because if you don't
least.
have anything else, if there's nothing else to put in there, you have the stewed peas. So, yeah.
That seems like misrepresenting, man. I'm just saying I would call it something different. You
Call it
know?
something better, you're saying.
It's the pea stew.
Pea
Don't
stew.
touch the pea stew. It's just made of peas and a bunch of really other tasty shit.
Oh,
There's like a difference.
that's a surprise, though. That's a
It's
surprise.
like a crash. It's like,
Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
there's a crash.
Excuse me, but yeah, that's one of those things. I like to get down there, but like I don't know. My parents live in Toronto, so I only see them so often, and I didn't realize. Well, I realized after moving down here that yeah, they're definitely an integral part of my upbringing. I sound more like them on a daily, Like I called my dad the other day, and I was just like, you know what, I need to take a step back because I sound like my pops right now, and
Hey,
that's a bad thing, but at the same time, it was an unexpected thing. So just like, wait, hold on, did that just come out of me?
I don't consider it that bad, man. You know, it's See, that would never come out of my father.
No, I don't even think I can remember. Like,
that would never come out of my father. Fuck.
No.
That's why I'm not having kids.
He would have caught it, and like he would have like.
My kid would be fucking horrible.
Oh man.
be a belching, farting masterpiece.
I wouldn't say. Wow.
Kid would just be doing fucking backflips all day long.
Oh,
Playing
man.
bass?
No, just barching, farting at the same time. And using
Oh,
it to,
right.
like,
Right.
The propulsion of it all.
Wow, I feel like that would be really. I feel like that would hurt. I feel like you would have to do that really hard to like both like. You would have to spin yourself pretty hard to like land on your feet again. I'm just saying.
dude,
Yo.
he'd be gay because
Plus passing gas burns calories.
He'd
That's
have an asshole that can handle it.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, we go there and beyond it, Exposed the North, and he definitely just went beyond there.
I thought my night was done. It's not done anymore.
Oh my gosh!
And a mouth that could go for days.
Oh wow! Exceedingly,
No.
I can't.
I can't even. I can't right now. No. We share a name, ladies and gentlemen, but like, he gave us a thumbs up. Oh fuck!
1 out of 3. 1 out of 3.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's
I just thought it was a funny cartoon image, and then it just got into like hentai or something.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yep. That definitely went to a place I never thought we'd get to.
Oh, this is just the beginning.
It's true.
This really is just the beginning. Like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen from now until whenever, but like, it's shit's changed now.
Yeah, for sure. We are now highlighting some decent funk. So if you're listening to one of these tracks and you like it, let us know and we can make some arrangements. Notice we got like 4 people involved, so we're gonna have to split that pot 4 ways if we decide to charge for it.
Man,
I know, it's so hard, the business side of it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Capitalism.
I'm telling you.
yeah.
Like, I'd rather
Go
do
capitalism.
I'd rather
Go
do
cap-
something good for you, knowing
No,
you'll do something good for him, knowing you'll do something good for him, knowing he might do something good for me.
Did you watch
Why
it?
am I the only one who doesn't have
I have a
sunglasses?
serious-
Wait a minute, hold up. Why did I not get the memo on the sunglasses?
I have a serious question for you right now.
What?
Have you ever watched Pay It Forward?
I have sunglasses.
I think so.
That kind of sounded like a Pay It Forward thing.
That's exactly what it is.
With what is like with what's his face at the end, John Bon Jovi at the end.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that movie propaganda for capitalism? But
No,
besides
why do-
that,
bro, now that my daughter is.
I
propaganda for
agree
capitalism.
with you. Actually, like it's a system that encourages that. Actually, which is really kind of cool because there's a degree of value-ness.
Yeah.
You know, it's not based on national values or whatever. It's, do you got money?
Yeah. But, like, I've always been told, like, you have to have what they need. And it's like, isn't that manipulative? You know what I mean?
Hey
And
man.
they're like, kind of, but still, that's just the way it works.
Hey man.
But
Yeah,
I mean, like
Steve.
in any social system, that is kind of the deal, you know?
It is.
Like, I mean, that is a kind of base truth. Like, you know, be yourself is actually kind of bullshit.
Oh, my,
Like, I mean, that's it's
certain people receive who I am as I am. Like,
Yeah.
you know, present company included, but, like, not everybody can accept me. Like, there was one time Breadman came over, and I was on the phone with Capital One, and I was like, yeah, this is the last time he's going to want to come to my house.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I was like, gee, okay, don't get him angry, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Jesus, gonna just make
I
a
was-
mental note to that.
No, man, I was on, like,
In the van, and he's like, bro, I'm sorry, I gotta do this. I'm like, do what? And then all of a sudden he's like on the phone, and then he just shows me. So I'm like, oh, okay, you know, waiting like,
at least I gave you notice, you know what I mean? I was just like, I let you know someone's about to go down, you know what I mean? So,
oh, fuck.
I tried to avoid it as best I could. I was trying to talk to them all pretty and fancy, and they just weren't receiving me. It's just like, listen, man, listen. This is a situation. I understand you don't like it. I understand it doesn't fit within your pretty little patterns or policy, protocol, and procedure. But motherfucker, you gonna do what I need you to do right now, or we gonna have a fucking problem.
and that's kind of strangely enough the deal.
Yeah, you have to have something like.
Yeah, no, and that kind of totally breaks the whole idea of like what we used to hold up that whole ideal. You know, what it comes down to is, are you gonna fucking call it on it? And I've had this a number of fucking times I can think of where it's, if you just call it on it, it's really just a bunch of humans doing human shit.
Yeah, and if you can appeal, like, I mean, the other day I had I was gonna boycott Amazon. I was literally ready to just.
Not the boys, though.
Not the boys.
Just Amazon.
Just Amazon, not Amazon Prime. I was gonna keep that shit until I saw the whole fucking season of The Boys. But that's just a different side of things that we'll talk about later. Y'all, they reclaimed, or they got.
The Boys.
They redeemed themselves.
Watched it.
They redeemed themselves. They definitely did. I spoke to a woman by the name of Ashley from Southside Chicago, and I don't know if anybody knows what's going on in Chicago right now, but like,
No.
shit's hitting the fan, and you know what I mean. You got to navigate those waters. So you know what I mean, like Chicago.
Why have they not taken over? Like, because I've been to Chicago. Like,
Chi-town.
you can
Stand up.
I'm pretty sure you could probably create checkpoints within that area enough to basically. Same thing with Detroit. Like, okay, trick we used to use in.
But it would get a little Judge Dreddish, wouldn't it?
At first.
Ain't it Judge Dreddish right now?
No,
Oh,
I
man,
think actually the best way.
Shout out Judge Dredd, by the way.
But yeah,
we
no.
were talking about Stallone earlier.
Yeah, fair enough. Carl Urban, also the dude from The Boy, like Carl Urban. He
Yeah,
also
yeah,
played
yeah.
Dredd, too.
Fucking Hugh Jackman looking dude.
But yeah, like Chicago's got enough checkpoints that you could actually. Welland's beautiful for this.
It's set up so.
The fucking Isle of Welland, you could fucking checkpoint the shit out of it and just go fucking independent whenever the fuck you want.
Bro.
Which is why Welland's a fucking great little place for fucking weird.
That Macaroni Bridge, man, they just sucker you in for that checkpoint. Like,
No, you can literally, I think it's 5 points.
Macaroni Bridge. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I've never heard it called that.
That's what they call
Macaroni
it.
Bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm Italian. I've never heard it called the Macaroni Bridge.
Yeah, bro.
Are you kidding me
What,
right
That's
now?
what they
Sulphur
called it.
Bridge?
No, the bridge by
Baroni.
the
Like-
West Main Bridge.
The Final Destination Bridge, right? Like
Division.
the one where they shot Final Destination 5.
I don't know.
They
if
shot a
that
movie here?
Yeah, they shot a couple movies.
Oh,
here.
wow. That's fucking.
Okay, part of a movie. Okay.
Welland.
The
Let's not,
Macaroni Bridge.
Yeah. Over by, like, the street that turns into Division.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, now we see why you're calling it.
Yeah.
Okay, now it makes sense.
You can see there's a piece of macaroni down there, can't
Yeah.
you?
Okay, now I see. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It just
is he
kind of
talking
curves a
about?
little bit, you know what I mean? It's like, it's got
I
that
thought you were
little...
talking about the actual bridge at first.
No. It's talking about
Okay, I
the...
would take out that bridge first off. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, man.
easier to defend.
The
Oh,
Macaroni
man.
Bridge.
Okay, so seriously, like
He's
is anybody else
So
about that
seriously,
pizza? What time is it? It's like 10 to.
tend to.
I'm not about that pizza right now. I'm full.
I'm allergic to milk.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking hell for me.
That's so.
Oh, dude, when I found out, dude, like
Okay,
I
so
said,
make us
I
sandwich
was
or
low in weight to begin with.
Yeah.
When I found out I was allergic to milk,
Yeah.
it took me a year and a half to figure out how not to starve.
Oh, fuck.
Beer.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, beer's actually got, like, some of the things I can get from milk.
Really?
Calcium. Fat content.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, it comes down to fat content.
Oh.
Good times.
That's an lager.
Yeah, no, dude, I gotta meet you guys up with
yeah,
this
that's
other
it.
buddy of mine. He's a pretty good DJ, and I think he would blend really well with different things in different, sort of circles. Because it's that sort of like chill, like droney sort of sound.
Yes.
All right.
It kind of creates like an atmosphere.
I think you might have looked him up one time out there.
Yeah. But yeah,
we're nominated this year, right? Did we nominate ourselves?
Let's see.
For what, the diamond thing? No.
No, not your music, whatever.
We're gonna submit. Definitely.
Yeah, we should because it won't be hard.
I don't know if that's. I don't think.
Yes.
Ben,
we tower over these people.
Well, we have to have a. We're gonna have to talk about this off camera. We're gonna have to talk about this off
What?
camera.
It's the truth.
I'm not hating. I'm just stating.
No. It's this scene doesn't necessarily like. Okay, this is going into like alternative, like in the not the 90s sense, but like a sense today, and in that it's its own thing. There's no way we could not win.
As a band, no.
Well, we've been when we've been doing well, like when we went out, like people seem to like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Bradman's been killing it.
Man, he is. I'm telling you.
I'm not. You guys kill it.
Like,
you guys play
I don't even.
This needs.
I don't even know who to compare him to. Like,
though,
I can't compare him to anybody because he's in his
own.
Be
like on the
his
piano,
own person.
Just there, rocking the shades.
Yeah, just
DK Lonely on the keys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The keys will be fire.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe if I got back into like seriously playing piano, like I did.
We'll just have to bust it out one day.
Dude, if you're on a play button, you know what I mean? Like the fact is like the way you arrange stuff. So it's like, say we're taking a song that's like made up of all of us. You're reproducing it, and then we have to learn how to reproduce that. And the stuff that we can't do, that's on you, man.
Thanks, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, you're right. Like even if I just hit a play button with like, just be one of those guys. Like I'm still bringing something to the table.
Yeah.
Just my own shit.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and straight up, it really
Taste
is.
Rentals.
I couldn't do this.
What?
Like that, Yeah, like I couldn't do that. I wouldn't think that way, and so that's
chill
on you.
Relax.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like, thank you. Like, I'm humbled, really. But like, yeah, like, I mean, that kind of, like, I don't want to, like, fucking.
Yeah, do it.
Break my own neck, sucking my own dick, but like, I really do believe that, like,
if you can do it.
Hey, Marilyn Manson.
I was literally,
I've
I
heard-
literally
I've
thought
heard-
those
I've
that
heard of
same
that.
name. I swear to God. No, I was just about to say, well, Manson did it, but like, I apparently could do it. Like,
well, like, I mean, like it really is taste, man. Like, no one else out here has a sound like we do, and like all of us bring something different to the table that makes it work.
Oh
like,
man,
no one else is making beats like this, man.
Well,
fucking...
no, and that's I mean, this area doesn't have a voice yet.
No shit.
Like especially,
I've only been doing podcasts for 184 weeks. Tune into the Tourette Effect tomorrow.
Okay, so the closest to a voice. But yeah,
well, I mean,
like
we have the fucking. I think the fucking NMAs are like the beginning of something that's like.
I'm telling you, if you've
I
never,
agree with
well,
you.
I met him at the, I not met him, but I saw him at the animes, and I was just like, he walked up humble as fuck, just like, hey, dude, like I just saw him at the grocery store or some shit, like,
Where was this?
At the Niagara Music Awards in the Scotiabank Arena. Like he was like, hey, dude, and like, hey, dude, like you never mentioned this in like the last couple of weeks we've been kicking it. It's like,
no, no, I'm pretty fucking low key about shit because I don't know. It's all. Okay, this is my way of looking at shit. If the people who I meet who are low key on what they do, are the people I generally want to work with, because anybody who's high key is like,
They say they're good, but they're not.
yeah, that's
yeah, exactly. Because like it's just that overinflated man.
Yeah,
Look, like, it's just
like if all
agree
you're
with that.
dealing with is ego, and I mean, not to say that I haven't met people with ego that can fucking perform, and yeah, they're a fucking beautiful thing unto themselves. They're irritating as fuck, but they're great. You know?
Yeah, we have them.
Like, yeah, I mean, because it's just
Could be
really
a crazy combination.
like it's all talk, man. Because like at the fucking end of the day, like again, like if you ask me, like it's just like how it's just like how I was saying a while ago here. Like I don't know who was here, but like I was like, I mean, like it's almost like being nice. You know, like man, like a nice person won't be nice to get clout for it. Like a nice person will just be nice.
But you
And
do
then-
find those people who they're going for clout, and they're
Let the
They're-
accomplishments speak to you.
and that's what I mean. But their accomplishments are strong enough that you're sitting there going like, "Fuck," and they're irritating to deal with. You know what I mean?
But do you find that those people burn themselves out? fast?
Straight up.
So,
No,
like-
and straight up, because it's not healthy.
It really isn't, because man, like
No,
it's
it
just like
really
Rick
isn't.
Sanchez said, man. Like you can be an asshole and right, but if you're an asshole and right, nobody wants to give you the satisfaction of being right because you're an asshole.
Yeah.
So,
No,
like-
that's a great way to put it, and it's it's they're frustrating people to run across though,
Oh shit.
because I got one. Because you're always willing to get. It's like hot girls. You're always willing to give them the benefit of the doubt,
No shit.
you know. And that's as far as it goes. That was the end of the statement right there.
Yeah, like what else do you need to say to that? You know,
Mhm.
because they're hot and you want them. You know, but like
It's not even that you want them. It's just, yeah, it's fucking weird.
So,
It's acceptance standards that for some reason some people get to get away with certain shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. It happens.
Humans are fucking weird.
Although, like, there's still some shit that animals do that are weirder than humans. I'm not gonna lie.
no shit,
Yeah,
bro.
straight up.
This guy was talking about some shit. I was like, what the fuck, bro? When you told me that shit, I was like, no, chimps don't do that. You're bullshit.
No. They straight up like they're. Oh fuck. I feel like I want to get into weirder fucking sexual practices of animals, but
Please, you know,
Wow.
like you already broke the mold once.
Yeah,
Might as well,
no,
Just shatter the fucking thing. Why not?
yeah, like praying mantis is definitely. But again, it's
Black widow spiders.
yeah, that turned into a bee star. That's how the bee stars.
Although,
I was
like-
wondering, like, why the fuck was I talking about bee stars? And that's right, it was praying mantises. Yeah, but humans aren't that unique, except our ant houses look like this.
Or, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
Our colony looks like this.
Yep. The way we kind of put ourselves together looks like this.
Our
you
queen
know?
is old and most likely a pedophile.
Yeah, but not everything was like this developed, though. You know what I mean? Not every
But I mean, that's.
organism got the chance to like create all this stuff.
But
and
didn't
use it
they?
for their
I mean, I look at ants
True.
in particular. They're. I really like to get into this point where I'm like, is anything like this different than an ant would sense its own particular existence? You know,
I guess they just never know it. You know?
like, would they not place boulders or grains of sand in their case in a place that might not reflect sound in a way that's pleasurable to them?
I don't
For
know,
whatever
who
that
knows,
means,
you know?
you know?
But that's just like their modus operandi. And men, like, however they receive pleasure from that. Hey, you know, like I'm not gonna judge. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, and it's weird because, you know, like thinking of us as getting closer to primates, all of this music, all of this kind of reinforcement of our own social stature or our own society, you know, it's an artificial sort of like replacement for it, but is serving the same purpose while reinforcing the social system that makes us sit in separate rooms and listen to music of each other so that we feel like we're part of something.
Like art is a really good practice because in some ways I find it's like the truest reflection of who we are at the time. You know what I mean? Like
no, and it really is, and it's a conversation that we're having that we feel like is
with the viewer,
like
with the listener. You know?
Yeah. No, and it really is. And going back to what we were talking about earlier with like YouTube and stuff, that's the authenticity we're looking for. I'm using a very royal we, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's that sort of like, this is something that's actually happening, it's a conversation that's happening, and we're a part of it because we're there.
True.
Like we're on the front lines, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, humans are influenced by art, which makes them make art, and then other humans are influenced by that art, which makes them. You know what I mean? So, like, really, it's just a big pendulum going back and forth. You know? So, like, what do I? So, like, my question, I ask myself every time I'm making music or like writing something, or you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, what do I want to say? You know what I mean? Like what emotion do I want to like?
Yeah,
right
put forward, like, yeah.
You know, it's
like to add to the conversation.
Yeah, you know, like so something meaningful too, like, you know, like nothing that's like, you know, overplayed or overhyped or you know what I mean, like none of that shit, man. Like I just want to make good music to a standard, you know, like
that would be an interesting question, actually. A song that got overplayed that meant way more than it did by being overplayed.
Any one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Like Burning the Midnight Oil.
Blame it on the rain.
Yeah.
Like the Midnight, you know.
Yeah.
Like that shit was way too political, bro.
Yeah, that they just kind of came on and they were just like, you did not get it because it got overplayed, and it's like the context changed, but when you look back on it, you're like, man.
Wow, that's what that was about?
Yeah.
Like Standing Rock? Like, holy
Chumbawamba is one I kind of put in
I
there.
get knocked down.
Yeah.
No.
KLF.
Somebody once told me the word.
Really?
Yeah, well.
Really?
Well, shit, that kind of, like, that turned into a meme, you know what I mean?
No,
So,
it
like,
really
that,
did, but I mean, like, in the sense of, like, what did they actually mean in that song? Did they mean...
I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. Wow.
Yeah.
Because he ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, you know?
Like, somebody wrote that at some point, you know what I
like,
mean? That's what's the coolest thing about, like, songs like that is somebody wrote that, they thought to write it.
So, like, that's why I'm jealous, man. You guys have the ability to play instruments wherever, you know? Like, you can, like, make people feel, like, on a stage, you know? Because, like, all the crowd wants is to just, you know, have a good time, right? And, like, you just want to speak to them through your art, and you can do that. You know, all you guys can do that really well, you know? And, like,
I think DJs can kind of do the same thing, though. Well, okay, I grew up in the last 20 fucking years of DJs being able to do the same thing.
oh, fuck.
Live on
House
Candid
DJs
Conversations.
Like Carl Cox, yeah, like all of those guys. It's like,
Man,
Maybe we should close it off.
we're
Yeah.
closing it
We
off.
having, we having good conversation, but we go into the
We're getting into
the red zone.
we're getting into the nighttime.
We might get zucked.
Sucks. Yeah,
Zucked.
you're playing music that you don't own the rights to.
Zuckerberg.
We're gonna shut you down.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it's
Okay. It's
slang way
it's
of saying
meanable. Yeah,
You know,
I get it.
get zucked, bud.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, this has been Candid Conversations.
With the basementals.
The Basementals live.
That's it. And direct.
Share the link. All right. Have a good night or day or whatever time it is that y'all have it. Hey.
Good
That was
times.
fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Just talking about
We're
things.
still
that
live on the
speak to you, you know?
speaker.
Go
Freaker.com.
into a lot of different
All right,
topics.
yeah.
no
So
shit.
just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that,
Okay, yeah, okay.
We
Sure,
out.
I'll talk about this.